happened.
There she is.
Hey.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Scarlet Blades. Hello, Richard Moore. Hello, Scott Chang. Hello, Vicky Styles. Hello, Jonathan Moore. Hello, Samantha Lorian. Hello, Ryder Gibson. Hello, Kirstie Summers. Why are you commenting in here?
Why not?
Here.
Sam did.
Yeah, but I like Sam.
Rude.
Right, let's do that amazing monologue again, but with audio this time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Blizzard Comedy's broadcast Avalanche. We're like Mock the Weak, except we only mock the strong. Oh, yeah, we don't do any punching down here. And also, we don't just book white men, so we're so woke. In the news this month, Donald Trump has demanded a Republican convention with no social distancing or masks, despite the COVID pandemic, which was achieved very successfully due to nobody turning up. Protests at the murder of George Floyd took place all across the US and worldwide. There were scenes of looting, vandalism, and extreme violence, but enough about the police. Some protests were awfully loud at times. Donald Trump has officially declared Antifa a terrorist organization, despite being neither of those things. If Antifa is a terrorist organization, then Donald Trump is a communist aubergine. A statue of slave trader Edward Colton was taken down by protesters in Bristol, sending a very clear message to the BBC and Netflix. People are sick of Little Britain. Streaming services have been removing all instances of blackface from their content in an effort to appease Black Lives Matter protesters. And what do you know? It actually worked. Police across the world are so angry that they can no longer watch The Mighty Boosh on Netflix that they've quit the force and turned themselves into the authorities for complacency in and active systematic genocide. Thank you, Netflix. You've saved the world. The BBC has committed £100 million to increasing diversity on TV. With that money, they'll now be able to platform both racists and transphobes. Katie Hopkins and Graham Linehan have been permanently banned from social networking platform Twitter for breaching terms of service around hate speech. I've not written a punchline for that one. I just thought you'd like some good news. J.K. Rowling releases disappointing follow-up to iconic Harry Potter franchise with Harry Potter and the Transphobia Manifesto, which takes place about 13 years after the end of the last book. And in it, the protagonist ruins her legacy and dies on a hill that literally nobody asked her to climb. Sorry, should really have put a spoiler warning there. Rolling's tough. Mel Gibson denies allegations of anti-Semitism, which is a bit like me going, yeah, you know what, I am straight. You can't deny allegations of a thing which has been the cornerstone of your career and personality since at least 2004. A new suspect has apparently been identified in the Madeleine McCann case. Reports that it was Jerry and Kate McCann's reflection in their bathroom mirror have not yet been confirmed. Boris Johnson has claimed that absolute and relative poverty has fallen under his government. We don't actually have the figures for this year yet, so we can't verify that. But to be fair, it's quite easy to eliminate poverty when those who are in poverty are unable to sustain their own lives due to your policies. COVID-19 is disproportionately killing the disadvantaged, which leads me to believe that Boris thinks that eliminating poverty is just a synonym for killing the poor.
Where are the jokes, Jonny?
Where are the jokes?
This is just accurate.
Yeah.
Just slam poetry at this stage.
And finally, the government have announced a 5-step plan to reopen theatre and concert venues. Currently, we're in phase 1, which is defund all the theatres and concert venues. Phase 2 is refuse to let them display any live performances. Phase 3 is shut all concert venues down. Phase 4 is sell them off to the highest bidder. And Phase 5 is enjoy a pint of John Smith's in one of the many thousands of new branches of Wetherspoons in the country. Everything is terrible. Let's meet the teams. Welcome. We are joined once again by our team captains, Kirstie Summers and Thom B.
Hi.
Oh, stop it. You're all too kind. I assume you're all applauding loudly. I can't tell right now, but let's just assume that you are. And there's other people as well I should introduce as well, shouldn't I? On Thom's team tonight, we have the naughty boy of comedy, David Stanier, and the wonderful Khalid Winter.
Hello.
And on Kirstie's team, we've got the wonderful Erika Ehler, and they're here, they're queer. Oh, how I wish they were near. It's Quenby Harley.
So yeah, supporting each other.
So, how are you doing, David? David, you are. I've just realised you are the only cis white man on this lineup. How does it feel to be a minority?
I'm happy to be representing.
You are representing the typical cis male today, David. So anything you say and do will be reflected upon your entire community. So just be aware of that.
Jonny, can I just say David is the real victim in 2020? Could you just acknowledge that, please?
David's life matters.
Specifically, David.
How are you doing, David? So, being one of those men, those white men that I've heard so much about, do you like video games at all?
Well, like every middle-class 30-year-old white guy, of course I do. I mean, what else am I going to like? Sports? Yuck.
Do you perhaps have a podcast that has anything to do with video games you'd like to share with our lovely audience?
Have you been reading my diary?
I have. Thank you, by the way. That was a nice thing to say about me.
I've got a podcast called Day Video Games. If you like video games and having a great time, listen to that.
Fantastic. Are you excited for the launch of the PlayStation 5 this year, David?
They're being very, very cagey with the price. I don't think I'm going to be getting it very time soon.
No, they haven't said no. That's very true. Is it kind of retro games you prefer, or are you up with the cutting edge? What's the newest console you have?
I'm on PlayStation 4. I got The Last of Us 2 last weekend. I do play Call of Duty a bit, the latest one. Yeah, I'm a up-to-date kind of guy.
Fantastic. So for those of you who have never seen a white man in the wild before, this is what they do. Next, Kirstie, how are you doing, my lovely?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I mean, like all the days kind of blur into one at this point. Someone asked me how my weekend was today, and I kind of just spent about 5 minutes trying to remember how recently the weekend was, as if that's not a question you exclusively get asked on Mondays. But yeah, I'm always fine. I mean, I can't really complain. I'm healthy.
It's fantastic. Good stuff. So apart from all the wonderful stuff you're doing with us, Blizzard Comedy, which is great, if you're not checking us out, do.
You say to the people watching the show right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You can never be too sure.
That is true.
What else have you been up to? Anything exciting, possibly involving Thom fucking B?
I was going to say, yeah, my main thing is me and Thom are doing Social Distance Warriors, and also Andrew, who is the other half of No Money in the Bank, and our wonderful producer Sam, who is doing this show as well. So if you like the gold star quality production value of this show, you're gonna love our other one, which is exactly the same but like a different color scheme.
I set up some of the templates. There are some differences. Not many.
This week we are continuing to play Dream Daddies with the wonderful Bobby Ann Jones, who, if you haven't seen our adventures on Twitter, is like my sweat buddy. Like, I come in from doing my deliveries on my bike and I send her a photo of how sweaty my shirt got while I was doing those deliveries, and she's so supportive. She makes me try so much harder than if I was just doing it to feed hungry people. So that's been fun. And then on Thursday we have our chat show, and this week we have an artist called Katie Liz, who does very cute things inspired by Animal Crossing and is raising money for Chester Zoo. We have Kat Molinari, who has performed at Blizzard before and is absolutely bloody wonderful. And we have Penny Jane Polton, who is a singer and like one of my best friends ever. I'm so excited about getting to show her off.
Yeah. Fantastic. Lots of good stuff there. We will be posting all of this information on our social media as well, possibly in the comments of this YouTube. I don't know. It'll be somewhere. You'll find it. Thank you for joining us, Kirstie. Khalid, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Fantastic. So I believe that from my sources that you also have a podcast coming up. Is that true?
It should be out in the next couple of weeks. So I'm, if you don't know, I'm an archaeologist, or I was before I started doing comedy. So I've started a history podcast.
Ooh, exciting. What's your favorite history?
Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite history. I mean, it's all one thing, isn't it? Really, if you think about it.
It is true. Wise words. All history is linked. What's the theme of your first episode? It's quite
so the first release, I guess, is a 4-part series on the Black Death, which Fantastic. I thought would be quite interesting. It'd be quite interesting to compare it to the pandemic that we're living in now. Spoiler alert: the Black Death was worse. Although
time, we can catch up.
Although another spoiler alert: there are many cities in Europe at the time that handled it better than the UK is right now.
Well,
that's not a joke. That's not a joke. That's actually a truth, just a fact.
Oh,
Nuremberg and Milan both handled it better than the UK handling coronavirus.
Of course, they fucking did.
Can you please lie to me and tell me it was a joke? Please.
It was a joke, Kirstie. It was all a joke.
Thank you.
And you woulda.
Fantastic stuff. Is this going to do you have like a website or a hub for these, or is it?
If you go to my website, which is just my name.com, or my Facebook or whatever, I think it's all linked so people can find that in the Blizzard. The description and stuff. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yep. Definitely go check that out. Thank you very much for joining us, Khalid. Quenby Harley, I see you. You've got a nickname there for yourself, Sodomite. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I've just realised I don't actually know if the YouTube can see the names or not. But if you can't, it's very funny. So how are you doing, Quenby? Are you up to anything exciting tomorrow that you'd like to share with our guests?
Oh my God! How did you know? Yes, tomorrow I have got a really weird drag video going up as part of a live stream raising money for York LGBT Forum. I put it all on my Twitter and Facebook and stuff like before this started, and Blizzard can retweet it or whatever, but it's really good. It's a really talented lineup. My video is like properly fucking weird, and it really was annoying for my girlfriend filming it in our flat together, so it'd be great if you could validate my poor life choices.
Fantastic. Yep. Yep. You've validated our poor lifestyle choices here, but if you could validate Quenby specifically tomorrow as well, if you've got nothing better to do, which most of you probably don't, please go and do that. Let's see who else. Erika, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thanks. I'm doing all right. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm doing good. Are you actually in the UK at the minute? Or are you in Canada? I can't remember.
No, I left the UK. Because of Corona. Back in March. Been in my parents' house. I'm going mental. So.
Oh no, it sounds awful. Is it just you and your parents, or are there anyone else?
It's me and my parents, and then my mom's business is that she houses like international students like in high school, and obviously they can't go home, so they're still here. So.
Oh, okay, fantastic stuff. Are they nice? Are they the worst people, or are they lovely?
The students, they're chill. They just do their own thing. One went home. Actually, they had to spend $10,000 to go back to Beijing. And then they did that, and then they have to wait in a hotel for 2 weeks before they can see, their family and stuff.
Oh shit, that's fucking horrible. Welcome to the show, everyone. We had a bit of a chat before. You've got something coming up as well. I can't remember when. I do apologize. Yes.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Or I guess it would be Tuesday, maybe your guys' time, because it'll be at British time. It'll be like 2 a.m. So if you're awake, feel free to join us. It's called Island Women Rise. It's like a send-off for Filipino Heritage Month. And we're donating all the profits to Black Lives Matter, but it's a free show.
Fantastic.
You can find it on the link is in my bio on my Instagram, but I'll pop it in the YouTube chat right now.
Pop it in the chat, and we'll put some stuff on our socials. Thank you very much for joining us, Erika. And last, I just see what Thom changed his name to. Last but not least, we have A Cab for Cutie, Thom B.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing, my lovely?
I'm all right. I've been awake for an hour and a half. I've punched down a sourdough. I'm decent.
Fantastic.
That's all I live for now. It's like week 13, and I'm just thinking bread.
You have such an exciting life.
I do not.
It's okay. No one does right now, mate. It's fine.
It's fine. So yeah, apart from obviously you're doing the social distance warrior stuff with Kirstie, have you got anything else you'd like to plug? Or
I feel like I'm trying to deal with the madness of the whole world situation at the moment by just making myself as busy as possible. Yeah. So me and Andrew, who's the other half of No Money in the Bank, have started. They started a video series, but we turned them into podcasts as well. That's Dark Rough Drafts, where we go for our old notes and try and punch up previous material that was not good enough for the stage, which you could argue with most of our material. And we've also got an Order a Drive-Through record, which is going through every drive-through record release and reviewing it, saying what it feels to us. I'm also currently doing a fundraiser where about a year and a half ago, when I just got out of a mental health ward, I wrote a vegan baking zine. I've put that up online as donation only. But if we reach £750 on that, I will legally change my middle name to Bort, and all proceeds go into Black Minds Matter. We're currently at 325. So it's a absolute. I have no profile, so I'm just going to motivate people to do things by my own stupidity. It's all I've got. That
is fantastic. What's the target again?
£750. If we get to 1,500, Mark Grimshaw will also do his name.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, so definitely do contribute to the good of humanity by making two really significant cultural comedic icons of the Manchester circuit. One of whom isn't doing comedy anymore, to my knowledge. Changed their middle name to Bort. So
that's all we've got, man. That's all we've got.
If you weren't already sold on the Black Lives Matter movement, this should really tip you over the edge.
I would love it if we could convince some more comedians to get on board and just like raise loads of money for Black Lives Matter, and also just as one more random thing that happened in 2020, a bunch of Northern comedians all changed their name to Bort. Is just, and there would be no one else needs to know why it happened.
I'm going to say if you get to 250, I will change my middle name to Bort.
Well, there we are, another one.
I will hold you to that.
Right, on that note,
take this with any of my partners or my parents or anyone.
See, my parents are okay.
Mum until after we'd already told everyone we were doing it.
If you overthrow capitalism, I will change my name to Bort.
Oh, that's fair. That's
your whole name.
I was going to do that anyway.
Well, just like a single name moniker, like Bort.
Yeah, like Prince.
How we form like a communist sect now. It's stuff like the sect of Bort.
The Bort Brigade.
In my mind, it's just kind of in the corn font with the backwards R.
Tom.
I know I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it as a tattoo. I'm aware.
Wonderful. Right, let's. Oh fuck! There's been a lot going on in the chat here. Right. Scarlett said, "Silent Jonny is adorable. Keep them like that." No, it won't. Jonathan says, "But I also can't hear Jonny. Is that normal?" Apparently so. Yes. What else we got here? Let's go away from the time when we were having technical troubles. Good stuff. So wait, what? So he was digging himself a hole before finding comedy. I don't know who that's about. What?
That's about me, isn't it?
I get it. Yeah, I see. I was like, that's really funny. You should be on the stream. I don't know what I'm doing here. Thank you, Unobtainable Potato. What a fantastic name, by the way.
He is a Twitch streamer, so if you like video games and like music, check him out.
Oh, fantastic! Good stuff. It's like a hybrid of David Stanier and Thom B.
I'm also a cis white man and enjoy video games. In fairness, and I'm 30. We're just we're repping Team Beige over here.
Yeah, Thom, I totally forgot that you were cis when I was introducing you.
I really like the.
You don't seem it. I couldn't tell.
I really like that bisexual gets me a get out of cis free card. That's
That is it. Scarlett says we can see names, but I think you should just keep assuring us stuff is funny. Don't worry, I will carry on doing that. Marshmallow Fairy has a matching T-shirt with Quenby. Fantastic. That is. I am not surprised at that at all. Andrew says Jonny said nobody here punches down, and now we hear about Tom's sourdough. That's a good point, Thom. I don't know how we might have to kick you off the stream for that.
You can't get the air out by pushing up. It doesn't work. So it's the only way to do it.
You can try, Thom.
Yeah, just throw it at the ceiling, let it deflate, and then fall. That actually sounds all right. That sounds fun.
Wonderful. Okay, well, let's get the show on the road. So our first round is no context. This is a round where contestants are shown a selection of pictures from the news over the past month without any descriptive context. Points are awarded for the team to guess the news story correctly. So we will get the picture up now. Beautiful assistant Samantha, if you could ready that for us. Wonderful. Yep. So here's the picture. What do you think this is about?
A restaurant full of restaurant goers all get food poisoning because it went right through them.
Is this a picture of all the people under 30 who support Keir Starmer?
Breaking news: KKK outfits much less threatening when you draw smiley faces on them.
I don't know if that's true. They still look quite threatening to me.
Nah, this was my lonely ass attempt at a housewarming party during lockdown.
Oh god, this was Kirstie's birthday. Fuck, that's really sad.
It fucking was. It was.
Is this Boris Johnson's latest suggestion for PPE? Just throw a sheet over your head.
This looks like Casper the Friendly Ghost, like awkward graduation meal with his parents.
Oh my god.
I think they've all got some complimentary amuse bouches.
This looks like when cops slip out of their uniform and slip into their other uniform.
The general public are keeping the virus away by staring for each other.
This is the 2020 season of Ghost Hunters, and they're off to a really good start.
This is economists desperately trying to boost confidence in the restaurant industry.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong.
This isn't a joke, but why is the one in the middle on the left have the same face as a blow-up set stop?
Follow-up question, how do you know that?
Oh, you weren't here last month, to be fair.
I've seen the films of Will Ferrell, Quenby. I know what a blow-up set stop looks like.
Oh, God, you're so cis.
I don't enjoy them. I've seen.
I think this is a restaurant full of all the guys who never texted me back.
Does anyone know? Has anyone got any guesses to what this actually is?
Is this a restaurant trying to demonstrate what the reopening restaurants would look like if everyone died?
This is what it looked like with social distancing, right? When they open again.
I'll give you that. Yes, yeah, that's close enough. Essentially, this is a restaurant in Michigan who, to enforce social distancing measures, has filled the empty seats with ghosts. Which is going to make the next Michigan KKK meetup very confusing. So yeah, that's point for Tom's team there. Right, next picture now. If we'll get that up, and I will send it through to the. Where have I saved it? There you are. Right, next picture. Right.
What
do we think this is about?
This is the sequel to Mad Max, where the only sustainable fuel source is statues.
When you say this, do you mean the picture or just reality?
Is it Predator pleads with people to stop using his name when describing male comedians?
This guy was better prepared for like apocalypse fashion than I was.
Wearing dungarees, that counts.
I'm wearing corduroy dungarees that I have worn once until you gave me an excuse to do it today.
Oh, and I'm cis.
Wasn't cis. Just not a man.
Is it me when I'm babysitting and I've left my nephew with some crayons for half an hour?
Any more ideas?
Is this what Keir Starmer thinks is worse than police brutality?
I mean, I legitimately struggled to think of a thing that was going to be funnier to me than just like all of the racist things getting hideously defaced. Like, I love that. That's great. What's funnier than that?
This is like a written version of the Tower of Babel, and every word is just like not in a different language.
Right, does anyone know what this actually is?
I wonder what that gazebo in the background's for.
It's so when you finish with your painting, you can go have a cup of tea.
Oh, that's nice. I love a bit of radical action in a brew.
Just like fuck cops and then like go and have
Earl
some
Grey.
tea.
I'm actually surprised none of you have got anywhere near what's happening yet.
Is the story just like statues are getting fucked up at about time?
No, that is not the story.
Is this Mad Max person the statue? And they've just they've become autonomous and they've left the plinth, and now everyone's very confused.
You're kind of in the right area, but no.
What?
What?
I don't think. I don't think you're going to get this. So,
human statue defaces his own statue.
No, it's not like that. What this is this guy here is I don't know how you pronounce his name, so it's Jizmak Dagusha from Gwa, and this is him showing up to the defacement of a Robert E. Lee statue. To remind everyone that there is a petition to get the statue replaced with the Lake War frontman, Odorous Orungus. To which this guy from Gore showed up to remind people to sign a petition, and he entered by saying, "Gore is here," and then "fuck that guy," talking about Robert E. Smith, which I think is just wonderful.
That would have got my attention.
Yeah.
Also, the spikes.
I do like that the people don't seem that arsed that he's there.
Can you imagine how hot he must be? Boy, that's a sweat trap. That's dangerous.
I mean, they've been performing like that for as long as they've existed. I've no idea how long they've been around for.
That doesn't make it safer.
Yeah, they're probably used to it though. Right, so no one got that one, so there's no points that time. So at the end of that round, Tom's team have 1 point and Kirstie's team are on 0. Right, next round is breaking news. This one, each team are a set of news anchors who will be given the first line of a news story and then carry it on line by line to fill in the gaps. Points are awarded for entertainment value. And that's it, really. I don't know why I'm explaining the point system to you like any of you care. Who I like most gets more points. That's how it works. Right, Tom's team, you can go first. So we'll go David, you can start, then Khalid, then Thom. So your first line is: he's made a fortune from comedy over the years, but Roy Chubby Brown says he'll go broke if comedy gigs aren't allowed to resume soon.
Roy Chubby Brown really needs a gig. Even if it is to 20 races that barely fills out the O2 Apollo in Manchester, he is sending out the call for who books this.
Keir Starmer says we should respect Roy Chubby Brown's opinions.
The rest of the world just says, good, go broke.
After having to become more racist to keep a certain niche audience interested, he's thinking of other ways to be a rotter.
So he has now joined forces with J.K. Rowling.
They have formed a musical double act called the White Lives Matter Stripes.
I'm going to end that there. That was fantastic. Thank you very much. Right, Kirstie, your team.
Yes, my team.
So you will go in an order. I haven't decided. Kirstie, Erika, and Quenby, go in that order. So your first line is... A Fife street came alive with the sound of socially distanced disapproval this week as residents shared their thoughts on Boris Johnson's efforts in the coronavirus pandemic.
What started out as a genial and inoffensive boo soon got caught up in the heat of the moment, and it became just a resounding chorus of like, fuck off into the sea, please.
Yep, everyone we formed a choir and started singing, I hope that man dies. He should have died. Was that woman that was in Harry Potter that admitted that she wished he died? That's who was in the streets singing. Miriam Margolis, whatever her name is.
Hearing the yells that he should die and get in the sea and the afterlife sent forth representatives to say, please no, we don't want him either.
Local councils are wondering if it would be possible to melt him down, because then they're also allowed to do that to that statue that no one wants.
I'm thinking if we throw him into the sea, that's also where like Osama bin Laden was buried, and like that's good company between the two of them. They'll chat. I didn't add anything, but it's just I've been thinking. Just so once we were like, oh, he's gonna be in the sea, I'm like, yeah, he'll also be with Osama, and that's pretty.
It's like the worst episode of Aquaman.
All the newspapers reported that Scotland fucking loves Boris Johnson, and anyone who says otherwise is perpetrating fake news.
Scotland told all of the newspapers to go fucking do one.
I think that's a beautiful end. Thank you very much. That's wonderful. I am gonna give the points to. Yeah, fuck it. You can both have points. I really enjoyed both of them. 1 point each. Hey. There has been no change in the positions, but now you have a point. Team. Yeah.
Can I just say, we also had a comment through. I'm not sure at which bit, but it said that deserves a clap. Only one, but still a clap.
Can we just do it now? Just.
That's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sam, for that clap.
Thank you for our clap.
Right, we are going to have a quick break now. So if you need to go for a poo, do that. If you need to go for a wee, do that. If you need to go for another reason, I'm not your mum. Do what you want. But we'll be resuming.
I wish you were.
We'll be resuming in 10 minutes.
You're not my mum.
No,
Thom,
sorry.
your mum's cool.
Oh, my mum is cool.
She's letting you change your name.
Right, yeah, we will see you shortly. I mean, we're still going to be here chatting shit, but there's going to be no actual progression in the show for 10 minutes, so see you shortly.
No obligation.
And I need to run a very quick errand.
I was going to say, am I allowed to make a brew even though we're staying to chat?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'm going to get a drink as well, I think.
So who's staying here to chat? My team. Cool.
I'm here. Yeah.
How's it going? How you feeling being on my team? I won last time, so I don't know. I'm not winning this time. I didn't think I was competitive about this, okay? But then Jonny sends me who's going to be on teams, and I'm like trying to know if I can figure out who's the smartest person playing each episode, or like who's going to be most engaged with the news. And I'm like telling myself like, no, this is a laugh. Like this is supposed to be less stressful than reading the news already is. Like chill the fuck out.
Who do you think is the most intelligent person on tonight?
No, not just intelligent, but also most engaged with the news.
The things
right?
you already said.
Right. No, I meant both. Both.
Right.
And
I'm not hearing an answer here, Kirstie.
Here's the thing, right? I know Khalid's very politically engaged, but I also know you are. So I feel like it's going to be a tight one. But without spoiling who is on the teams next month, even though the information is available on the Facebook page, I've got a very clever team on the next show, all round. Thom's got a great team too, but Thom's got a fun team and I've got a really clever team. So depending on whether Jonny wants to give points for fun or correctness.
Kirstie, Scarlett wants you to rank everyone from smart to not before.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Is that including me and Sam?
Yeah.
Well, Jonny, obviously you're the smartest one because you're the one who knows all the answers already.
That's not how smartness works.
It's how it works when it comes to likelihood to win the game. I didn't mean that people weren't smart. I just meant who's more likely to win.
After you've done burning some bridges and doing this ranking, can you also rank us from sluttiest to least slutty?
I mean, that's not easier.
I mean,
Scarlett says no because then Sam wins.
Sam wins.
I feel I could present a reasonable challenge to Sam on the sluttiness front.
You do. And half the people here, I don't know how slutty they are.
What did I just walk into?
We're ranking people in the game right now from least to most slutty.
Where am I?
We haven't got that far yet.
Oh, good.
How much dust is there about your house?
Not much. We got a vacuum cleaner now, so we're fine.
The other year, my nan bought me a really good dustbuster. It's the lamest present I've ever had, and the fact that I really liked it made me realize that I have to just accept that I'm a grown-up now.
A dustbuster is what I call my right hand though, so can we be heard on the stream, by the way? Or,
yeah.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we weren't.
Yeah, we weren't just talking amongst ourselves.
We're just privately ranking everyone.
I believe it.
I didn't want to rank anyone in the first place. Quenby and Scarlett.
No. It started because you're like, oh yeah, when I look at the teams, I'm like, okay, who's the thickest and who's the smartest?
Straight up didn't say who's the thickest. I said, like, who's going to know the most about the news? And it's like, not me.
You were the one who started out the concept of ranking of people on the show. I just continued it to sluttiness because I want to win something.
I usually get way too much credit because I'm an archaeologist. Like, people just assume that you're smart, but it's the two aren't.
Assume that you're slutty, and I was like, I'm not like.
It's like an archaeologist stars, trashing hotel rooms.
Spends a lot of time around bones.
Go on, sorry, Tom.
I was just going to say, what does being a professional archaeologist actually involve? Because my only frame of reference is indie. So
it depends. If you're doing like academic research, it's kind of like indie, and you'll go around to different, like I've been to Iraq and Uganda, places like that. But then most archaeologists are employed because there's a law that you have to excavate if you're doing a building development. So or you have to have an archaeologist on site. So when they dig the foundations, there has to be an archaeologist there to make sure they're not destroying stuff. So most archaeologists in Britain that are working, that's what they do. They go to building sites and they just watch, make sure they're not, and then if they find something, they stop the development and excavate it. Yeah.
Make sure there's no skeletons of Richard III just lying around.
Yeah, usually, well, that's how they found that. Yeah, but usually it's just some Tudor pipes or something like that. It's a bit boring, but yeah.
Hope you're all enjoying this at home.
I'm genuinely curious. I'm fascinated.
Can I just say, I don't know if it was already referenced when I was out of the room, but I'm really enjoying Jonathan Moore's passionate campaign to get me to be Tom's mum.
I can't see the comments. Oh no!
It said let Tom be your son. More mums for Tom. With claps in between each.
Because he clearly shows it's claps in there. So it's let Tom be your son.
Yep, that. I think we're all back now. Shall we continue?
Yeah.
We have 24 people still watching us. Thank you very much to all. How many of 25 now. How many of them are us? Are we all looking at this? Sam has 2 up. So there's wait, we're on 26 now though. So we can assume that there's probably about 20. Oh, we're back down to 25. I'm going to stop doing a running commentary. No, that's probably why people have stopped watching. Talking about that. Right, next round.
I've just noticed I'm super bright on the stream, so I'm just going to turn. There's a lamp over there that I'm just going to turn off. So I'll be 1 second.
Ed Roeth says you should do Blizzard Comedy does archaeology, in which comedians do time team and dig up the past.
What's the hell out of that?
Yeah,
same.
I don't know if I'm qualified to run that, but if Khalid would like to do that. I'm sure we can arrange something.
Maybe not like an angel.
Now. I don't know.
I'm not sure how we do for guests. I feel like there are a lot of comedians who wouldn't want to dig up the past.
I'm not good.
Well, I mean, like white men refuse to. We're digging up the past right now, and it's really pissing men off.
To be fair, that's very on brand for us.
Yeah. Right, next round. Next round is fake news detectives. I think yes, it is professional. This one, each team are going to be given 3 headlines. 2 of them are real, 1 fake. They've got to work out which one the fake headline is. Now, I should clarify. When I say real and fake, I mean printed and not printed. So just because it's in a headline doesn't mean it's the gospel truth, but these are things that were reported in I was going to say reputable publications, but they were printed in a publication which has a following. That's one way of putting it. So first, I believe we have Tom's team. So Tom, your 3 headlines are: Iceland has adopted all the penguins in the fight to save Chester Zoo. Second one is UK government in talks with Elon Musk about new satellite navigation system after Brexit. Third headline, Ben & Jerry's launches ice cream filled with crisps. So, which one is real? Which one's fake?
Just to clarify, did you say Iceland has adopted all the penguins?
Iceland, yes.
The Icelandic government or Icelandic supermarket?
Iceland. The supermarket. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I guess they've got places to stay. They've got a lot of freezers.
Are they going to start selling penguin poo as a kind of?
It's a legal high.
That's funny to know because that was in the warm up. No one.
At least Iceland's got those.
It's funny to me, damn it.
The crisps and Ben & Jerry's can't be real. I mean,
that doesn't seem like it would work, does it?
Well, yeah, they get cheese and onion, obviously. Cheese and onion with a chunky monkey, yeah. Wait, surely sorry.
They'd be soggy, right? That's what you were going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe. I really do.
Like McCoys could stand the sogginess.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you can't do it with chips, though, could you?
No. And McCoy is a rugged crisp, though. That is possible.
A lot of surface area to scoop the ice cream up with as well. So
I'm coming the other two idea of it now.
Yeah, the other two strike me as believable because I mean, this government definitely would sell off anything to anyone.
Absolutely.
So, and they also wouldn't, And Chester Zoo, I mean, I believe that could be a sponsorship or something. Maybe they've got like a new penguin meat line or something. I don't know.
Well, Iceland, the supermarket, are one of the. I mean, it's still like big old capitalism, but they're one of the nicer ones. So it wouldn't surprise. And they have that whole advertising campaign about how palm oil bad, stop destroying the environment. So it wouldn't surprise me if they had. It's just, it seems like a very odd choice to only do the penguins, like a very specific Noah's Ark.
Maybe they're going to start selling penguin meat, and they want to get some like weird marketing campaign.
Oh, that's a throwback joke! Fucking hell! What is this? 2010.
I've got jokes from 2010. I've got joke callbacks that the audience didn't see.
You're such an archaeologist. Living in the past.
Digging up jokes.
Khalid went to Edinburgh 2021. What's the deal with horse meat, guys?
Archaeology. So it's. You can't hear me. Never mind.
No, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. You need to go fully out archaeology, so you need like throwback jokes going back to like the Romans. It's like these days, right?
Straight roads. What's up with that?
A centurion. There's only one of me. Oh,
Hadrian wants to build a wall, but who's going to build it?
So I just signed for a home in Pompeii.
Anyway, headline: fake news detectives.
I think it's going to be the crisps.
Yeah,
I'm on board with the crisps. Yeah.
You going for the crisps?
Yeah.
You are incorrect. That is a real thing. Yep.
I'm both upset and excited at the same time.
Yep. Ben and Jerry's
have Marmite peanut butter all over again.
Ben and Jerry's have launched an ice cream filled with crisps. It's called Chip Happens, and it's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Chip Happens.
Yep.
It's a great fucking name, though. I'm sorry. That's excellent work.
No, it's fucking terrible. I will put it in the comments in case anyone wants to have a look at it. It is in the Metro, so maybe it is bullshit, but it was printed.
That is a Metro page 3 kind of story, now that I think about it.
On the Ben and Jerry website. It's real.
We have confirmation. It's true. There you go.
Yeah, so Iceland did also adopt all the penguins in the fight to save Chester Zoo. Correct. And the fake one is UK government are not in talks with Elon Musk about a new satellite navigation system after Brexit. As someone pointed out in the comments, they have invested in a new system, but apparently all major experts in this kind of thing think that they've done it badly. So
that means they've done it. So that means they've done it brilliantly. You know how our government treats expert advice.
I'm not an expert on this, but I could have told you they've done it badly without knowing anything about it.
That was probably implied, wasn't it? So that is no points for Tom's team. Let's probably do a running total rather than just a thing. Right. Okay, Kirstie's team, your 3 headlines are Russia urges the US to observe democratic standards and respect Americans' right to protest. Austrian police defend decision to fine man after provocative fart. And Texas brewery owner makes new protective masks with hole to drink beer through.
Right.
I don't want any of those to be true.
I mean, the first one is definitely true.
Okay, yeah, here's the thing. They all feel like that wouldn't fucking happen. But the state of the world right now, that doesn't mean shit.
No.
That's my reaction to every news story.
No, the Russia one is definitely true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the other two. The Texas one isn't unbelievable because, like, in the city center of Leeds, there are like people like selling masks which have like breathing holes in them, which kind of miss the point. So I don't know about the other two.
I feel like I feel like they could both be true. I feel like they could equally both be false, and I know what I'm like. I will talk myself into choosing an answer and then changing it until I've gone through all of the answers twice. I'm with you on the Russia one because I think I saw that and was like, oh yeah, I think I've seen that and thought it was like, of course this is what's happening in 2020. Like I haven't seen either of the others, but
I've seen masks with like holes for straws in them, so I do believe that that's probably true.
So
it seems more plausible than the provocative fart one because, like, what exactly would you need to do to like make a fart that provocative?
I feel like if that's what we're leaning towards, I'm happy to go with you guys on it. Partially because it also kind of sounds like the thing Jonny would come up with.
It's true.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Knowing Johnny's mental age, that is entirely true.
Although, could you be charged for like a public disturbance for like a fart that stinky? Like, I could see that it wouldn't be in the legislation for like, oh, farts so bad. Like, it could fall under a different law, so that it could also be like, you know,
like
I mean, like, how would you prove that, like, that, you know, this was intentionally provocative? Also, I'm really curious about the phrasing of provocative fart. Did it inspire art? I don't know.
No, it will inspire fart.
I don't know enough about.
I don't find provocative to be necessarily a negative word. You know, it could like.
I don't know enough about Austrian laws to know if there's some kind of like anti-social rule that you can break with an aggressive fart.
Maybe they're just kink shaming.
But equally, like, police will charge you for any old shit.
Maybe like it was provocative in the sense with the fart sounded like all cops are bastards.
I would love to be able to fart ACAB. That'd be amazing.
Someone shouted all cops are bastards and the police went, who said that? And someone was like, no, it was a fart.
Fascist asshole. Oh, I need to go on my dating profile.
I would love it. I would love if that was what this story was. Someone shouted abuse at the cops, and then when they were called out on it, said it was a fart, so it had to be processed as a fart when they went to court. That's what I want this story to be.
I think we could I think we should like go. Yeah, we're playing a game here. I think we're so far from the point. I'm gonna stick with like the Austrian police one is the false one.
Hang on. We've had a comment.
Oh, hello.
Don't be swayed by the comments.
Whoa!
That's cheating.
Whoa!
Vicky said, having lived in Austria, I believe the fart one, but I've never lived in Austria. I feel like this is information we didn't have before.
That is cheating. You should have a point deducted.
Marshmallow
You're already
Fairy.
winning.
No, but I want to win by more.
My shirt, brethren. Could you Google which of these is true?
No,
that's that.
don't you dare do that.
Okay, so Quenby, you were leaning towards the fart one not being true.
Yes.
Erika, how are you feeling?
Well, now with this new information, I'm kind of like, because I've never lived in Austria. But yeah, I think the wording of it is odd, so I'm going to say that it's still the lie.
That's still okay. And I will talk myself around to believing anything really. And
hang on, Marshmallow Fairy's on Google.
No,
I don't
stop it. Guess now before she gets back.
I don't necessarily believe that either of the other two are definitely false, so I'm happy to go with team consensus on this one. Let's say it's the fart one.
So for the fart one, you are incorrect. The fart one was true. Yep.
Okay, but was it how I wanted it to be?
Austrian police defend decision to fine man after provocative fart. There's a quote from the article. Apparently the report described it as let go a massive intestinal wind, apparently with full intent. It's the actual quote. Imagine being in a place where you get arrested for letting wind, and yet you kill a black trans woman, no one bats an eyelid.
Oh.
Can I just say that is now how I'm going to describe farts forever? A massive intestinal wind. Sorry, just had a massive intestinal wind.
Oh, a mighty wind is coming.
The Russia urges the US to observe democratic standards one is also true because we live in a weird future. The Texas brewery owner makes new protective mask with a whole string beer through is false. That was not printed anywhere.
That definitely feels like something that's happened, whether it was printed or not. Yeah. Maybe that's why it was so convincing, because like it definitely happened, but it's happening so frequently that no newspaper thought it was worth publishing.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a trick question, that one, isn't it? Because it's in America and you'd have to wear a mask to have a hole in it. So
yeah, good point.
It's wonderful.
There already exists masks with mouth holes for them. Just saying. Don't use them as PPE. Do use them for fun times.
Imagine when you're in the corona ward and your doctor comes in a gimp suit.
Right, let's have a look at some of these comments.
It's like the old Venetian plague doctors.
Marshmallow Fairy says they searched provocative far Austria and it corrected it to art, which is one in the same, really. Yeah.
I went to Australia a couple of years back, and I was in Darwin, right? And like there was a building that had a great big sign out the front that said Art Warehouse, and someone had graffitied it so it said Fart Warehouse. But then they'd also gone round and found every poster on the building that had like this exhibition is at Art Warehouse and graffitied it so it said fart every single time.
I mean,
and like
full rebrand.
I had so much respect for their commitment to vandalism.
That is classic comedy.
Like
it's quite funny as well.
It is, yeah. Like that was I think the only thing I took a photo of in Darwin. Like out King Kakadu in the outback, I took loads of photos of trees and rocks and shit. But in Darwin, I was like, mate, let's go to the Fart Warehouse. Like,
Go on, sorry.
We drove past it on the way to a crocodile farm, and I remember turning to my friend and saying, I need to take a picture of the Fart Warehouse on the way back. Like I went out of my way to get a photo of it.
I love that you actually think it's called the Fart Warehouse now.
It is in my head.
Yeah. You know the Royal Academy as well, like all their posters say RA, which is another name for the IRA. So there's so many possibilities. They have an exhibition that was like free to friends of the RA. know how you would prove that, but
Wonderful stuff. So, hang on. Sorry, doing some admin in the background. Right. So next round. Oh, scores. Yeah. After that round, neither of you got any points, so it's still 2-1 to Tom. Next round is Gammon Fishing. This is a new one. So the teams are read out some comments from social media and news sites pertaining to specific news stories. The aim of this game is they have to work out what news story they are alluding to. But to make it more difficult, is we have changed all the nouns in these comments to one's X number of nouns up in the dictionary. So I'll just kind of show you how it works basically. So the first one we've got. This should be displayed on the screen as well.
I'm so bad at this. I'm incredibly dyslexic, and it really shows in this round every time I've done practice.
I hope this isn't an ableist game. I didn't think about that. Oh well.
Don't worry about it.
Tough's here now. So, yeah, so this one, Tom's team, this is for you. This is, let's not let the natter that's below spun make us forget the tulip of this statuette. The most attacked pretender in the hobble, yet the greatest frisson to misapprehensions. Don't believe it, look at the stats. Don't like it, don't chapel and see the tulip of it. I will send this to you in chat now so you've got a frame of reference.
I'm assuming the tulip is truth. That's kind of all I've got.
Let's not let the matter that's something. I'm guessing the statuette is statue, right?
Statue, yeah. Which means
so this is
only one or two nouns above or below.
Can I just say, you can get a bonus point for this one if you can also tell me who said the comment, because it is a public figure.
Was it Kirstie?
No.
Was it Farage?
Maybe public figure's the wrong word. It's someone who would have a blue tick on Twitter.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Are they still on Twitter?
I don't know. This might not even been on Twitter. I'm just using it as a to explain what I meant.
In hobble.
Yeah, like in misery.
I don't think that's the real word though, Tom.
Oh. I'm not good at this game.
I think they're saying that this is a great statue and the people who attacked it are stupid. Something like that.
I'm
so bad at this game as well.
Don't like it. I'm assuming that's don't like it. It doesn't change the truth of it, but that's.
Oh yeah, tulip. Yeah, that's a good. Tulip is truth. I'm guessing.
So,
truth of this statue.
And I think hobble is history. Maybe.
Like in misery, and
the most attacked president in history. Is this Trump?
Oh.
So the most attacked president in history, yet the greatest friend to something.
To miss it. Well, he is a friend to misapprehensions, in fairness. So.
Did you forget to change that one, Jonny?
No.
Friend to misogynists?
Minorities?
It's Abraham Lincoln. Someone's attacked the Abraham Lincoln statue, and they're saying he was the most attacked president in history and the greatest friend to minorities because he was apparently responsible for the abolition of slavery.
Yeah, it's like, well, slavery's not good, is it? Yeah, I'm going with Khalid because they did that a lot quicker and better than I ever could. So
I'm going to give you a point for that because you did get a lot of the words right. The context wasn't entirely true though. So the full sentence is once I find it, let's not let the narrative that's being spun make us forget the truth of this statement. The most attacked president in history, yet the greatest friend to minorities. Don't believe it, look at the stats. Don't like it, doesn't change the truth of it. This is actually John Dollyman from System of a Down talking about how Donald Trump is the most attacked president and the greatest friend to minorities, which is why no one lets drummers speak.
Yeah, see, like the problem with that is that we couldn't comprehend someone saying something so ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. These are mostly ridiculous statements.
We should have known. We should have known.
Yeah, Sapphire is dead, and we killed him.
Right. Okay, Kirstie's team. I'm sending it over in chat now.
Cool.
So yours is. I used to be a farce until your political opticians come out. Mutineer is my sanitarium, and the last fawn I want to hear is a political bumpkin when I'm listening to Mutineer. As far as I'm concerned, you and Pipe are completely done. Keep rushing your muck and ruining your fast bassoon.
Oh, I have an idea.
That's a really fun sentence to say.
Fast bassoon is a great name for a dick.
Yeah.
That's how Ruby Kaur like writes all her poems.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, presumably, political opticians is political opinions.
I think I saw this, which was like a fan of a band was like, "Oh, how could you like let us know your political opinions?" And they're like, "We have clearly political content in our music. If this is the first time you've realised we're political, then what the fuck have you been listening to?"
Is it? So it's going to be like, music is my sanctuary, and the last thing I want to hear is political bullshit. Something.
Maybe.
I don't know. I can't think of a word beginning with B. That I'd put there off the top of my head when I'm listening to music. As far as I'm concerned, you and
it's presumably like
I used to be a fan, ruining your fan base. So yeah, I think you're completely right. But I can also think of like a lot of musicians this could apply to. Like
I think Pipe must be like the name of the band. Or like a shifted version of the name of a band?
So, Rage Against the Machine has been getting a lot of shit because apparently people just don't listen to their music and say they're a fan. I know the Dixie Chicks recently changed their name so that it's not Dixie anymore because Dixie refers to the southern states, and now they're just the Chicks.
Which, I mean, is problematic in its own respect.
I think they should
now they're fast bassoon.
They should have had a full rebrand and got a load of trans women to like take over the band and then just respelt it as Dixie.
I've just seen a comment from my friend Charlie. We need some kind of writing degree person to help because he knows I have a degree in creative writing. Fuck you, Charlie, man.
There's nothing creative.
I will. I'm already giving you a point because you are on the right track. If you can, if you can work out what the band is, I will give you a bonus point.
Do
we steal the point?
Any idea what the band is?
As soon as it comes up on screen, it's too late.
Okay.
I don't know.
You and Pipe.
I know it.
Go! What is it?
No.
What is it?
No,
we can take the point.
Oh, you can't. Oh, okay, here it is. Yep. So, the full statement is this was a reply to Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine. So you basically got it. I used to be a fan until also. I want to point out it is used to be a fan as well, not used. That is not a typo. That's what it said. Until your political opinions come out. Music is my sanctuary, and the last thing I want to hear is political bullshit when I'm listening to music. As far as I'm concerned, you and Pink, that was the P, are completely done. Keep running your mouth and ruining your fan base. I'm gonna give you a point for that because you were basically on point.
What did they think the machine was in Rage Against the Machine? What did they think it was an actual machine that they were raging?
They were probably mad that it was the McFlurry machine at McDonald's. They were so upset. I get the anger, like, anytime I go in there.
It comes out too cold!
We just got a comment from Shane Curtin. I would hope that Fast Bassoon's first album is called Political Bumpkin. Tom, so just make sure you...
I would listen to that album.
And Sam's just commented pink with the exclamation mark as the eye. Yeah, that would be how it was stylized. And if the person stylized it like that in the tweet, then it wouldn't have changed as a noun. But they did, so... I feel like they don't have a lot of respect for pink, so they clearly didn't do their research.
Do you actually pronounce pink like P?
Like now that it's there, that's quite obvious because I can't think of like many other bands or musicians that's just like one word that's also a noun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, of all of the bands that I know that are currently like having shit stirred because they've said some vaguely political things, no, Pink was not one that came to mind.
I'm really actually impressed at how well you've been doing with this round. I was sure that it would not be going as well as it has been for you. So well done. Right, we've got the next one is just getting this up now. This is for Tom's team. Sending it over. No points for guessing who this one is because it is in the name. Debtor Marcus Rashford. Do you think woodpeckers should think about how they are going to feed a chimpanzee before they decide to have it? I do not want to pay to feed other percussionists kilometers. You are Westwood too. Thank you, Katie Hopkins.
Who says thank you to Katie Hopkins?
I think that might...
Don't help him. Let him get there himself.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, they like Katie Hopkins. Okay. Do you want to pay to feed? Is this regarding Katie Hopkins being like, if you can't afford to feed your kids, don't split them out?
Yep, spot on. As I realised as soon as I said this out loud, this is actually really obvious, but fair enough. That's I'll get you 2 points for that. This is
about percussionists.
It is not about percussionists.
I thought it was Chester Zoo again, and that's where I was going. I thought Marcus Rashford had also saved Chester Zoo, and Katie Hopkins was angry because she also hates animals because she's that horrible.
I assume Katie Hopkins was going on a rampage because people can't afford to buy their children food, but they are still buying them drum sets. So.
This is from the late Twitter of Katie Hopkins. I love saying that, arguing that she doesn't want her tax.
If only you could remove Twitter from that sentence.
If only. Arguing that she doesn't want her taxes to be used to feed hungry children, but is apparently perfectly happy to fund a rebrand of an airplane which she is never going to fly in. So weird how some people's priorities are. Right, one more. This is for Kirstie's team. I'll send it over now.
We did better than I thought we were going to do at the last one.
Yep, this is gay managers and wombats should be as free and equal as straight peppermint.
Well, indeed.
The good news flash, in 2020 they are. So why then do we need a prig month? What happened to that despair to be left winger alone? Now idiom poll is kink, when belief gay should be the least interesting thinker about you. This is also a kind of public figure, so if you can guess who it is, I will give you a bonus point for that.
I'm sorry, but Tom B. Belief Gay is a wonderful name for an Edinburgh show.
Gay.
Last soon single.
I mean, I really want this to be about gay wombats, but I don't think it is.
Gay wombats.
Gay men and women should be as free and equal as straight people. The good news, in 2020 they are, so why do we need a Pride Month? What happened to the desire to be left alone? Now, identity politics is something...
When being gay should be the least interesting thing about you, is what I'm getting from that last one. I'm not sure.
If you can get that K word, I'll give you a bonus point. You've already got a point because you are basically spot on.
Identity politics is...
I don't think you're going to get it. It's so bizarre.
Karate.
Not that bizarre. King. Yep, got it, King.
Nice.
Points to you. I will give you a third point if you can tell me who tweeted this.
Some prick.
It could literally be any number of cunts.
Is it LGB Alliance, maybe?
Nope.
They've been tweeting some homophobic stuff.
Is it JK?
No, it's not JK.
You can't tweet anymore.
It is a gay man who tweeted it. I will say that.
Why is that not fucking surprising?
Yeah. A white gay man. That was...
Oh.
Yeah. I probably didn't
I already assumed it was a white person.
Was it Elton John? Because he said stuff like that in the past. Like he told Ellen to shut up.
It's a very good shout.
Gay.
It's not Elton John. It is. He's not particularly famous. It is young conservative campaigner Darren Grimes.
Yeah.
He's gay.
Yeah, he's gay. Well, as far as I'm aware, he's gay anyway.
Darren Grimes sounds like the whitest rapper ever.
Darren Grimes.
Darren Grimes.
Darren Grimes
Sounds like a member of the Blazing Squad.
Darren Grimes doing crimes. Things that rhyme with Grimes.
I feel like I've heard his name crop up purely because he just says inflammatory shit, and I don't want to have heard of him for that exact reason.
Yeah, I think he started off as a Lib Dem campaigner of all things, but then was like really into Brexit. So then, although interestingly, this tweet was in response to the Conservative Twitter changing their colours for Pride Month. So I don't know. Generally right wing. I don't know if he's actually a Tory in the official sense, but he's a Tory in spirit. So yeah, that was good. At the end of that round, Thom's team have 5 points and Kirstie's team have 4 points. Right, we've got one more round before our next break. This is Dickhead of the Month. This is a discussion round where contestants essentially all bring a nomination in for who they think should be crowned Dickhead of the Month. We discourage them from doing the obvious ones because like Boris Johnson, Katie Hopkins, J.K. Rowling, all that. We know they're dickheads. We want something a bit more less obvious, I guess. Good English, Jonny. Well done. Yeah, so they're each going to have a minute to present their case. We're going to have a bit of discussion about it, and then I'm going to choose who I think deserves the crown of Dickhead of the Month, and the person who nominated them will get the points. So let's start with Kirstie. Who is your nomination for Dickhead of the Month?
Okay, this month, my nomination for Dickhead of the Month is push-ups. I've hated push-ups forever because as someone who has done competitive boxing, they are the worst, second only to burpees. And it doesn't help that my coach was a very tall, skinny man, and I'm like small and top-heavy, and he was just did not comprehend how we experience push-ups differently. In particular this month, this is Boris Johnson did a single push-up and the Daily Mail sucked his dick over it and was talking about how fit and healthy he is when he's clearly fucking not. And then instead of turning around and being a proper grown-up and telling him to stop being such a fucking child, Keir Starmer turned around and said, like, the first of 50 push-ups wins the country or some bullshit. I don't know. But if it wasn't for push-ups, right, they would not have this way of demonstrating what fucking Billy Big Bollocks they are, and we could move aside with this childish dick wagging and actually deal with like the country's issues.
Your time's up. Fantastic.
Good, because I'm done.
Yep. Solid entry there. David, your turn. Your time is starting now. Who is your nomination?
My nomination for Dickhead of the Month is time. The concept of time. After tomorrow, we'll be officially halfway through the year, which both seems like it's way too quick and also way too slow at the same time. Where's all the time going? And at the same time, I can't wait for it to all be over. I have no sense of time anymore. Days are both boring and long and gone in an instant. Sort yourself out, time. Stop making me older. I hate alarms, which are there to do with time. Put a clock up your ass. And that's all the time I'm going to use.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. 49 seconds. Good one. Right. Khalid, who's your nomination?
So we can't do J.K. Rowling, but it's related. My Dickhead of the Month is Harry Potter.
Okay.
Can I go?
Yep. Yeah, go.
So my Dickhead of the Month is Harry Potter, because he's held up as like this hero of the story, literally. But Harry Potter inherited an absolute fortune, and then he succeeded through no talent, just through pure nepotism from Dumbledore. And then everyone is surprised that J.K. Rowling is a Tory. Like the clues are all there in Harry Potter. And like the real hero of Harry Potter is Voldemort, because Voldemort grew up in an orphanage, became the most powerful wizard in the world through talent and hard work, and then was defeated by Harry Potter. Why was he defeated by Harry Potter? Because his mum loves him. It's like the moral of J.K. Rowling is like, no matter how talented you are, no matter how hard you work, you will never be successful if your mum doesn't love you and you don't inherit a fortune. So my Dickhead of the Week is Harry Potter, because he's a little Tory rat.
He grows up to be a cop.
Yeah.
And he grows up to be a cop. And as we know, all cops are bastards. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Literally.
I just want to have...
hail Voldemort. the fascism stuff was not good with Voldemort, I admit that, but before that...
But he's a true working class hero, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, next we'll have Quenby. Who is your nomination?
Okay, so... I feel this maybe falls into the category of like an obvious dickhead, but like he has outdone himself this month. My Dickhead of the Month is Graham Lynham, because he managed to get himself kicked off of Twitter and then ran over to Mumsnet and invaded a woman's space to complain about how he was censored for yelling about how trans people invade women's spaces. And also didn't win himself any favors because he kept on sending dick pics to random women on Mumsnet whilst he was pissed, which one of them described as his scabby little cock. And it's just been wonderful seeing how his entire world has collapsed. And I think this is like his retirement plan. Like having written 3 wildly successful sitcoms in like the 90s and early 2000s, his new plan was basically, I'm just going to like hate people on the internet for no fucking reason. And like his wife has left him, and yeah, it just makes me very happy that he's just burned every bridge, and like even amongst hate mongers, he is now just like, you take it too far, mate. I just find that really amusing.
That's fine. Your minute finished a while ago, but I was enjoying you shitting on Graham Linehan, so I let you go on first. Bad stuff. Okay, Thom, your time is starting now. Who's your dickhead?
My Dickhead of the Month is the news cycle, because it makes this job really fucking hard. It's like this time 5 years ago, we found out that David Cameron had fucked the pig, and that stayed in the news for months. Before that, there was the bacon sandwich with Miliband, stayed in for ages. 10 years ago, Gordon Brown called a woman bigger. It took over the campaign. In 2020, that wouldn't even make the afternoon bulletin. It's like no matter what happens, there is something worse. It's like someone is like, the news cycle right now feels like someone keeps going back in time to try and fix 2020, but it's just stepping on butterflies everywhere. It's like when something it's all going horribly wrong all at once, and I can't keep up, and I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. And it's got sad, not funny, but yeah, news cycle.
Wonderful stuff.
You're a regular team captain on a topical news quiz, aren't there?
There's too much though. It's like, Jonny, like how many news articles have you had to like favorite in preparation for this? Out of how many you used?
I have, compared to last time when it was like, I want to say 60 or 70, I have 165 bookmarks today, and I didn't even last time I had to go out my way to research stuff. This time I just this was all stuff that came to me, and I was just like, I don't have the energy to do any deep dives. These have all just come to my attention. So yeah, I do empathize with you there, Thom. Lovely stuff. And last but not least, Erika, your time starts now. Who's your dickhead?
Again, maybe a bit of an obvious dickhead, but every voice actor that's coming out now saying that they shouldn't have voiced someone who is a POC like cartoon, like that's great. Also, that's fine, but I don't know how the discussion about police brutality became about them. It's all Also, why now? You could have had, especially like Alison Brie, like she had she waited until the show was done for her to say, yeah, I regret voicing a Vietnamese American person. She could have easily passed it on. So it's all symbolic and fake. So they're dickheads. All of them. I don't care. Fuck.
Yeah, massively. Wonderful. Yeah, I fully agree. It's so weird how this has been derailed to. It's like literally nobody was calling for Little Britain to be like censored. We just didn't watch it because it's terrible. No one cares. No one's cared about the Mighty Boosh because it's not 2007 anymore.
I mean, no offense to David, but middle class white people have an amazing ability to make everything about themselves.
Kind of proving your point. I still don't understand why being kept out of the middle class white person conversation.
I don't know. You just.
I think it seems scummy.
It's a combination of the accent and the hair.
Wonderful stuff. Oh, lots of strong contenders there. I think I am going to give the point to. I'm torn between two people, but they're both on the same team, so they get the point anyway. I'm torn between Khalid Winter for Harry Potter and David Stanier for Time, so I'm just going to give Thom the 3 points. Thomas T 3 points, not him personally.
Don't make me person in the group project who does no work with SEA.
Stuff.
Literally, you are the one person in your team who was not considered for points.
I'm sorry, were you considered for points, Kirstie?
No, but I'm not the weakest link out of my whole team. I haven't been called out for it. I probably am.
To be fair, you might be. We don't know.
To be fair, I probably am.
Wonderful stuff. Right, we're going to have another 10-minute break now where we're going to chat shit for a bit, and some of us might even have a wank. I don't know. Do what you want.
Can I advise?
Only fans.
Can I advise not on camera?
I meant audience, not. We have enough professionalism not to do that.
Do we?
I mean, that would set us apart from most of the comedy industry, right?
Yeah, precisely. We will resume with the show in about 10 minutes' time. Go get some more wine and, see you very shortly. Let's see if I can actually edit the scores on this thing now.
It is brew o'clock again. I'll be a minute.
Brew o'clock. I did that wrong. Yeah, Sam, it's still not letting me type the scores in the text files. I don't know what's going on. That might be it then. Let's have a look. Open in text editor. That's the one. I am smart. Okay, so that is...
I'm really lucky that Sam volunteered to do.
It's still not letting me edit it. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, that makes more sense rather than doing all this weird stuff. Let's have a look at the comments. How are we doing? So during that round, Sam said David wins. I decided, okay, well that's fine. That backs up my decision. Rockio also think David wins. Time is a lie. Yep, I agree. I meant to be coming back to these comments with witty things, but I'm just agreeing with them. They're all very good comments. I'm enjoying. Yep. Yeah, much higher quality audience than hosting. David, Worry says, I love you, David, no hetero.
Oh, that's lovely.
Nice. Absolutely no hetero. None of that. Not on my show. LL Winterchild says, good, never liked Harry Potter. Do you mean the franchise or just the character himself? Because I quite like the franchise, but even when I Like, even before all this, I was like, Harry Potter is a terribly written character.
Can I tell my Harry Potter story?
Yep, you can tell your Harry Potter story.
Because I've been thinking of this for a while, thinking eventually I'll make it into my stand-up, and like now, like basically these are like my last chances to talk about this without having to like do a whole thing about like, look, I know J.K. Rowling is shit, but I've got a funny story, so just suck it up. So
yeah, get out now.
It's a news cycle, so I'm claiming it's relevant. So I used to be on the committee for a Quidditch and Harry Potter society at my university.
I'm not surprised.
And the Quidditch side and the Harry Potter side split from each other because the Quidditch side felt that being associated with Harry Potter was holding Quidditch back from being recognised as a serious sport.
That's amazing.
I missed the beginning of that, but like I don't think I needed to hear it to know.
I feel like you get the context.
Yeah, there is like nothing you could put before the end of that sentence for it to be reasonable.
It took like 2 years, and like everyone was taking it so fucking seriously, and I was just the treasurer, so I was just like, I want to make sure we have some money to buy like brooms and shit. Like.
And so how does the Quidditch Society work then? What how does Muggle Quidditch work?
Oh, God,
oh my God!
Basically, it's a combination of full contact rugby, dodgeball, netball, tag, and you're like running around with a broom between your legs the whole time. So it's fucking carnage. Like we used to have to like pay for ambulances to be at all of the tournaments because it wasn't a question of if someone gets seriously injured, it was a question of when.
That sounds really terrifying.
This story just reminds me of how much of an arsehole I was in university, because I definitely would have made fun of you relentlessly.
No, I think that's
for playing Quidditch.
To be fair, I would have simultaneously been the person that made fun of you and also like joined the team.
So I was involved on the Harry Potter side, so I basically hung out, watched the films, and like played board games with my nerd friends. Like that was what I was getting out of the society.
What societies was everyone in when they were in uni?
I was on the trampolining team.
Oh really?
I won a gold medal at Cambridge.
That's pretty cool.
I know. I went from being like the nerdiest kid in the world to like when I went to uni, I proper became a jock. Like I did like fencing and trampolining, and then when I left uni, I started boxing.
I used to do boxing. I used to be a boxer, like when I was a kid, and I am fully with you on push-ups. So really fucking hard.
Fucking horrible.
When you are like short and stocky.
So this, I happen to have it in a drawer. This is the gold medal I won.
Oh, really? Yeah, it happens to be.
It just happens to be hanging from my wall on display.
And this is my boxing medal.
Oh, all these medals just happen to be next to me while I'm live streaming.
This is my boxing medal.
Just show us the medal wall. There's no shame here.
It's not. I wanted it to be a wall. It's just a tangle in a drawer. But like what I wanted to do was like think of the wankiest way I could put these 4 medals on display. Even though like this one was the one I got for having like the best drunk stories at my office Christmas party. Like that one does not deserve to be there. But yeah,
I give you credit because I don't know where any of my medals and trophies are, and I really regret not looking after them. So well done.
Like shitloads of because I used to do competitive windsurfing when I was a kid. So like I got loads of trophies because I was quite good. And like I competed in like national competitions and stuff. Not very well, but like I was there consistently midfield.
That's fair. Consistent is good.
It's a very athletic panel today, isn't it?
I was not athletic. I got banned from PE when I was in high school.
Because you were so bad.
Pretty much. They made me do,
Stop embarrassing yourself.
You're holding the other kids back.
they made me do first aid instead.
Here's an N-gauge. Go sit in the corner.
No, I was in the.
I'm trying to think of the nichest handheld, and that's what I came up with.
No, I was at uni. I was on the Student Radio and Circus Society, so I was a walking stereotype. Yeah.
That is such a you club. Like, I feel like if it didn't exist for you to join, you would have invented it.
I did start the Circus Society. So there was a meet. I just kind of like got us funding, basically.
Yeah. I founded a society just because I wanted to do it, and I didn't want to like pay to do it somewhere else. So it's a great strategy if anyone's listening who's in uni.
Just to start a society.
Yeah, just so you don't have to pay.
I did so much like student society stuff because I had Harry Potter Society. I was on the committee for LGBT Society, and I used to go along to Feminist Society a lot, and I had an Economic Society. There's just so much fucking drama. There's so much bullshit which goes on.
I did sports, so I did like Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they were great because we were just all like, no one really cared about your opinion on stuff. You just kind of did it. And then I joined the Labour Society briefly. And it was just like a bunch of like mini Liz Kendalls, and I was like, this is not where I need to be in my life.
I attempted to join the university challenge team of my university, but I went to Falmouth University.
Sorry, Tom, that was really rude that I just laughed at that.
No, it's very fair.
He's winning this quiz, isn't he?
I went to Arts University at Khalid in Cornwall. We were fucking terrible, so it's it never amounted to anything. But I liked that they tried.
Yeah, I knew that was beyond my ability. I went to UCL, so like they were actually like okay as well, and I was like, no, not for me.
Just got a few good comments here. Sam was secretary of the Rock Society for a month. For some reason, the first question that comes to my mind is which month? Like, was it like, did you start it, or was it just like a month halfway through, or was this the last month? So, like, did you drive it into the ground, or did you just drop out? Is my question. That's all right. Fantastic.
My friend launched.
Oh, okay, amazing. Oh yeah, no. Do you know what? I was literally thinking just rocks, not music.
What was it? Geology?
Yeah, I don't know why I went to rock sock events. Why did I not?
we just decided to not nearly enough rocks here for me.
There was beef between the Rock Music Society and the Geology Society because they both wanted to be called Rock Sock.
Yeah. Marcelo Ferry chaired the LGBTQ Society for a year, attempted the Theatre Society and Feminist Society. I'm curious by attempted. Ed says, none of you know the thrill of the high seas by co-founding the Pirate Society. Yeah, I already know this stuff. So.
I know someone who applied to do the Dinosaur Society as a joke, and then it actually got selected. And then he felt really bad because they only select a certain amount, and there were like lots of people who had like applied for real societies that they really wanted to do, and they selected his joke, like Dinosaur Society.
Oh my god! What did they think to do?
I think it became really popular. Like people just met up and talked about dinosaurs.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
To be fair, I would have gone to that.
It worked out in the end.
See, I signed up to so many societies when I started uni, and then I only ever went to one of them and then just gave up. So
yeah, like I remember my freshers week, I went round and I went hammered, so I was everyone's friend. And I signed up to loads and I chat to everyone, but because I was drunk, I forgot everyone's name. But they'd all taken my phone number and email address, so I figured they would message me when the first meeting was going to be. And literally fucking none of them did. Like, I didn't even get spam from them. They just didn't tell me when the meetings were, and I didn't bother chasing them up. No, I definitely gave them the right email. Did you leave that bad an impression when you were drunk? Maybe. I was drunk and 18, which is like far worse than me drunk now.
I've not really been in any teams or anything since in year 6. I was in the school cricket team. And I was quite good in year 6, and then I went to a Church of England school, so like there weren't any Asian kids. And then I went to and then when I went to secondary school, I played against Asian kids. I was like, I am not good at cricket.
Primary school to high school is a big jump. Yeah, when it comes to sports, that's when you find out if you're actually
But also, just playing against white people, you do not get a reasonable.
Yeah. Well, Asian people play cricket the way white people play football.
Yeah,
like white people don't play cricket very like competitively. No, they don't.
No,
I mean they do if they're
professional. Really good at catching things. That was my thing. I'm an excellent fielder. That's about it.
I mean, I should say they do if they're like professional cricketers. But
when I was in year 9, I joined the after-school dance society in an attempt to prove that I was straight, which didn't work, as I'm sure you can imagine.
What was that, Tom? You broke up on my stream there.
Oh yeah, no, everyone. Oh, sorry. When I was in year 9, I joined the after-school dance society in an attempt to prove that I was straight. Which, because it didn't work, but because I just really like dance. But I was just like, oh yeah, no, it's nothing but girls, and they're all stretching like the girls do. Yeah, it's a sexy adventure. But no, it was just a 14-year-old doing dance moves to West Club 7.
Did you pick up any like
videos?
Do I fuck?
Please.
Did you at least learn how to dance?
I already knew how to dance a bit. I got a bit better, and then I got viciously bullied, so stopped.
That's crap.
Since when has people viciously bullying you, Tom, stopped you doing anything in the last 10 years?
This is more than 10 years ago. I was 14. We're talking 16 years ago now. I was a lot more sensitive to what big, scary straight men thought of me.
Amazing. Right, we've gone way over 10 minutes of talking shit. I just realised I'm just going to quickly recap comments and then we can carry on with the show as much as I'm enjoying this chat. Scarlet Blade says, wow, Jonny shows how much you care about us, because I forgot that rock as a music genre and a society existed and was a thing I was part of, so yeah, that's valid. Marshmallow Fairy didn't like half the people at the Theatre Society. I'm shocked. And the Feminist Society seemed to fall through. That's a shame. It probably would have been really turfy as well, to be fair. Let's be fair. Scarlett says, I want it on record that I was basically the only person at Pirate Society who dressed up as a pirate, so don't believe Ed's lies. I made that group good. And then Ed also stood under a false name for the student union rep team for a position that didn't exist. I need to hear more of this. This sounds amazing. Randolph Student Man, yes. I have seen him crop up on Facebook, but as like people you may know thing, I knew very little context about what that actually was.
On topic, can I make a late inclusion for Dickhead of the Month for the guy who stood for women's officer at my university, because anyone should be allowed to stand?
Was that Darren Grimes?
I don't think it was Darren Grimes, but he is the kind of person who would go to UCL, so it may have been, I don't know.
Darren Grimes with his rap manifesto.
Wait, I need to Google this now, because he might have gone to you. I'm trying to remember. Wait,
we have an illustrious alumni of eugenicists and it's horrible people.
In 1993. Oh god, he's so much stuff. But University of Brighton.
Okay,
that's fine. Then you're safe.
That's surprising though. I thought University of Brighton was, didn't have that many dickheads.
Maybe we'll have some.
Maybe it's just because I like Brighton, so I assume. Oh yeah, true.
You can be gay and a dickhead. It's fine.
That's true.
Since when?
Right.
Enough for this.
Right.
Sorry, Jonny.
No, go on.
No, I was just saying sorry for derailing you, which I just did again.
That's fine. Okay, our next round is, I was going to say as well, we were doing really good for time until this just happened. So we might be a bit later than advertised. Did we advertise an ending time? I don't know. Fuck it. Next round.
The audience can't see Sam looking really nervous as well. I'm like...
I'm not going to lie, mate. I think if there was an end time, I just put whatever Facebook auto put in for the end time.
Fair enough.
Oh, sweet. 7:30 p.m. tomorrow.
Oh, well, I mean, I have got tomorrow off. Could feasibly do it, but no, that's not. The next round is the great debate. This is a question time format. Panelists will debate a topic that's been in the news while taking the roles of assigned characters by the host. I have sent them all over to you, but I'm going to read them out anyway so everyone knows. So the topic of discussion today is whether or not we should be taking down statues of people who no longer reflect the nation's, whether we should take down statues of racists. We have on our panel today, we have Kirstie, who is playing Wreck-It Ralph. We have Thom, who's playing a 5G conspiracy theorist. We have Quenby, who is a professional human statue. We have David Stanier, who is an open mic comedian who says it like it is and doesn't care about offending the libs. We have Erika, a hippie who doesn't see colour. And Khalid, who is Nigel Farage. Right, let's get this started.
Kirstie, are you? Sorry, Kirstie, are you wearing dungarees just to be in character for Wreck-It Ralph?
Yes, I am. The one other time I've worn these dungarees was when I went as Wreck-It Ralph to a fancy dress party. That's why I have them. And Jonny didn't know that.
Nope. No, it just in my head, I was like, you could play a good Wreck-It Ralph. Right. This will be an interactive game as well, by the way. So if you want to put any questions towards any of the panelists during this bit, please feel free to put them in the comments and I will forward them on. So, yes, shall we be taking down racist statues as part of protests? Let's start with Khalid. What are your views on this?
First of all, I'd appreciate it if you didn't use that Muslim name to describe me.
Sorry, Nigel.
Thank you. I think we should build more racist statues. I think they should be holding fish and chips and a pint of ale. And I'd ask you this. Is it racist to be proud to be British? Is it racist to have concerns about immigration? Is it racist to own slaves? No, I would say no.
So, do you own slaves, Nigel?
Who told you that?
I'm just asking. This is not a trick question.
No.
You don't own slaves. Okay, right. Well, moving on then. Erika, what are your views on the illegal taking down of statues?
Well, I think that we should just let the earth do what it wants, because it's just there, and it's not really I don't think it's really hurting anyone, you know what I mean? It's just a, just there. And as long as the statue's not I don't know, eating animals, what's the problem? You know what I mean? I don't see the issue. It's not it's hurting the animals, because that's all I care about, It's what's the problem? I don't get it.
I've just got the image of a statue of Winston Churchill eating a horse.
Does racism exist anymore? Because does it? I don't, because the way I see it, we're all the same. We're all one race, the human race. You know what I mean? Come on, people.
Very eloquently argued. Thank you. Thank you, Erika. We'll get back to you shortly, I'm sure. Let's move this on to Thom. What are your views on whether we should be taking down statues of people who maybe don't necessarily reflect British values anymore in this manner?
Just give me 2 seconds. Erika broke me a little bit. It is absolutely wrong that we are taking down the racist statues and taking down any statues, because it is not the public who is doing this. It is not the people pulling them down for racial justice. It is the government who are employing people to disguise themselves as protesters and pull them down so that in their place we can build more 5G masts and we can be subdued by the 5G coronavirus, COVID 5G, as we all know. So, no, we should not be pulling down any statues. We should be pulling down masts.
I see. So you don't have a problem with the vandalism itself. You just think that there's an ulterior motive to getting rid of these statues.
I think there is an ulterior motive. I think that is now real estate for these little mini towers so that you can like have a personal 5G hotspot, which is just a breeding ground for like 5 meters of corona.
See, and what makes 4G so much safer than 5G, or do you not use that either?
I do use 4G because it is a lower number, and therefore the risks are not as extreme.
I see.
5G, 5 times the virus. 4G, 4 times the virus. I prefer to use a good old-fashioned 1G phone where you would just get a normal transmission rate, and I've lost my train of thought.
Wonderful, thank you very much, Thom. Moving on for now. Quenby, what are your thoughts on the pulling down of statues?
Look, I don't spend half my fucking life standing on a box, painting myself silver and bronze, and terrifying children for fun, just to be thrown in the canal. I don't stand with it. My granddaddy, he was a human statue just like me, and it was his right to put on blackface, and that was part of the art form. And it's these fucking liberals who don't understand this is part of British heritage.
Well, yeah, that's...
I know human statues, and that is how they talk.
I see. So hang on, just to clarify, you are against the putting down the statues because you feel like that would translate into violence against you?
It is. It's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope.
What I'm saying is bronze lives matter.
Okay, thank you very much, Quenby. Back to you too. David, what are your views on the statues?
Just to preface this, as it says on my Facebook profile, works at stand-up comedian, so I am a comedian. Everything I say might be a joke. So all statues are bloody shit anyway. All of them. When was the last time you went, oh man, yes, I like statues? Never. So just get rid of them all, starting with the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. Oh, give me your weak and needy. Have some self-respect, you big stone slut.
I don't know where I expected that character to go, but it wasn't that. Well,
big stone slut.
Very, very nicely put, David. And Kirstie, finally, what are your views on the breaking down the statues?
I really like that people are embracing the destruction of things. It's what I've built my career out of, and I'm not a bad guy. There was a whole film about that. Now, I think we should not just take down the racist statues, but all of the statues, and I'll do it. It's what I'm good at. I'm here to lend my services, right? Because if we don't take down the old statues, we can't build new things, and I'm kind of getting tired of just knocking down Fix-It Felix house over and over again. Like, I'd like a bit of variety in my day-to-day. Knock down all the statues, build new ones, and then I'll knock those down as well so that, like, you know, artists can get work or some shit. I don't care as long as I get to knock stuff down. That's what I'm here for.
The circle of life. I like it. Right, we've got a few audience questions, so I'm just gonna sliver some of these in here. I was trying to think of an appropriate word and I went with sliver. I don't know why. So this one for the speakers, what do you think of ice sculpture? Okay, let's start with Quenby. What would ice sculpture be different to taking down regular statues?
Well, it's a bit different because first of all, I think they deserve more respect because they're white. So that's very important. And I don't like ice sculptures really much myself, though, because they take money out of the pockets of hard-working English human statues. And you know where the ice is coming? It's not coming from British freezers. It's coming over from Poland. That's where it's coming from. So I think ice sculptures are stealing work from me.
Okay, I see. So it's got a really interesting point here from Scarlett, actually. Do you not think that pulling down statues could not open up more job opportunities for you and your family?
Well, the thing is, we work best as a complement to the real statues. And if you just imagine a world where all the statues have been pulled down, well, then the little kiddies, they wouldn't know what a statue was. So they wouldn't understand the art form of a human statue. It would just be like, why is that weirdo painted himself up like that giant green lady holding a torch?
You make a very good point there. But now that we know what statues are, could you not feasibly get rid of all statues and then more people could get work as human statues? And then that would help the economy or something.
I think it's important that we don't erase the history, because as everyone knows, we learn most of our history through statues, which is why I am formally classed as an educational performer.
Wonderful. And just one more thing, Quenby, before I move on to someone else. I've got a comment here. I'm guessing this human statue also plays Santa during the holiday season. Is this true?
I do.
Fantastic. Good stuff. So, back onto the topic of alternatives to statues then. I think the ice sculpture is a very interesting way of doing it. Then there are a lot more kind of temporary and they'll be a lot more relevant and up to date. Nigel, how would you feel about replacing statues with maybe more contemporary ice sculptures? And then celebrating really the diversity now of all the kind of big important public figures and cultural icons.
Well, I would obviously have concerns. I mean, you know where else there is ice? The Soviet Union. So what do we want to make some kind of communist dictatorship fueled by ice sculptures? Is that what we're heading towards by cowing to the demands of these Black Lives Matter protesters? Is that where we're going, Jonny? Is that where you want to go? Is that a Britain that you want to see, Jonny?
I mean, out of character, yeah, but for now, I am impartial. Okay, yeah, no, you make a fair point there, Erika. How would you feel?
Ice is communist. That's what I'm saying.
Ice is communist. I mean, I think we can all agree that abolishing ice is a good thing to do, and I really enjoyed that. Erika, how would you feel about ice sculptures as opposed to the current stone statues we have?
Well, I don't care if you guys want to put up like a racist statue made from ice, but good luck, because it's gonna fucking melt. Like, come on. Like, you could put a statue of Hitler, and it'd be like super fucking cool, but it wouldn't stay up because the earth is. Do you guys not like? You know?
We know, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, do you guys get it? Like, the Earth's dying, but I also don't care about people's sufferings from other things.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, okay, good.
Right, we've got another one here. I'll open this out to the panel. The statue of the War of the Worlds Martian in Woking, yay or nay?
I mean, if I can wreck it, I will.
Well, okay, good.
Yay.
That sounds so. We've got one from we've got one for Nigel here. How do you see your future statue as a statue in this dangerous world for statues?
Well, it should be fine. It should be fine because I'm not a racist. I'm just proud to be British.
So you're saying that it's fine to have statues as long as they're not of racist people?
No, we should have. Well, nobody is racist, Jonny. That's my whole point. Nobody is racist.
So racism is fabricated. Interesting.
Racism doesn't exist, Jonny. Oh, it does exist. Racism exists, but nobody is racist. Do you understand? No.
I like Mr. Tramage. He knows what he's talking about. And I'd just like to say, Mr. Fahrenheit, that I would be honoured to dress up as you for a statue. I'll be honoured.
Thank you, Quenby.
Wonderful stuff. Okay, that's a very interesting claim there. So, David, how do you feel about the claims that racism is real but nobody is racist?
I do feel that my white privilege might be a bit of a problematic issue here. But I don't care. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not racist. So that probably means it doesn't exist, does it? Because I don't think racism's real either. No.
Fair enough.
Exactly, David.
Okay, moving.
I'm a white man and I've never experienced racism, so clearly it's not a thing.
That's a very good point. Okay, so we're all in agreement, this entirely white panel, that racism isn't a thing. But in terms of the logistics, if we were to maybe take down statues, who or what would we replace them with? Let's start with Kirstie.
I mean, they don't really need to be replaced because I am going to wreck whatever you put there. Like, right. It doesn't matter. It's only temporary. And if you have a problem with that, like, I learned a very valuable lesson when my friend went to move into another game. And that's that sometimes you need to let go of things that you love in order for them to fulfill their greatest potential. So whatever it's going to be, it doesn't matter. Form a temporary connection to it and then let it go when I come round.
That's really interesting. I'd just like to say, Thom, this might be a valuable asset for you in your war against 5G. If, like you say, they are taking down statues to put up 5G masks, Kirstie here has claimed that she will wreck whatever is built in its place. So surely, then you don't need to worry about 5G.
I mean, I will allow that, but all I ask is that if the statues are replaced with anything, we just replace them with some of the great, brave people who have come forward and told the truth on the 5G conspiracy. Woody Harrelson, Amanda Holden, heroes, and they deserve
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, Nigel.
I would suggest that we put up a statue of Hitler.
Right.
Whilst I don't agree with Hitler, he allowed Churchill to be the great man that he is. Muhammad Ali would not be a great boxer without George Foreman.
And you know what?
So we need a statue of Hitler. It's a question of yin and yang, which I appreciate is a Chinese philosophy, so not very valuable. But we must appreciate the work of Adolf Hitler.
And if we don't build statues of Hitler, how else will we learn of the atrocities he committed in the past?
Who is this bloke? I've not seen his statue around.
Then who is he?
Exactly.
That's a very good point. Erika, what would you replace the current statues with if they were taken down?
I think like I'd put up maybe just like a single wheatgrass, just one. I don't know. Maybe I was going to say tofu, but I actually have been doing some research and it's not that great for the earth, but like, what are you going to do?
That's a very good point. Do you think it should be the same wheatgrass at every statue location?
No, only I don't, you know what? Yeah, we'll say the same wheatgrass for everyone.
Fantastic. And what sustainable materials should this be made out of?
Oil? Is that one? I don't really know.
It might be. Quenby, how would you feel about being a human statue if all the statues were wheatgrass?
Well, I don't think I look very good in a wheatgrass costume. I will wear it if people pay me enough for the fetish money. But I mostly just dress up as, a statue, like a normal person. So why are you going to make it weird? I think what we need to do is, for the education, we can have all these statues up, but just like engraved, like a millimeter high, somewhere on it is like a note saying, and they owned 30,000 slaves. But you don't want it to overpower the statue. So just like engraved on the palm of their hand in like 1 millimeter high text, 1 point text. I think that's the way forward.
Practical solution. This is an open one for the panel. Do you think it is important to preserve our history in stone in order to grow as a society?
No.
No.
It's important to wreck things.
It needs to be.
It will reset in the morning.
It's all. It is all. It is all distractionary techniques from the fact that 5G too much, and they won't admit their failure. And now we're all dying of the phone virus, and that's all I have to say on it. Because this is a really hard character to do in this scenario.
I would like to.
Character, fair point.
Before I answer that question, I would like to check what Keir Starmer's opinion is on the matter.
I believe his opinion is that he understands the reasons for the protests, although he thinks their methods are maybe a little unwise.
I agree.
Or if it's too on, didn't read.
Right, we'll wrap this up very shortly. Just as a closing thought, if we are in agreement, hypothetically, that we should be replacing the statues, do you think that justifies the vandalism that's going on? Let's start with David.
I mean, the due process isn't working, so what I'd say is, yeah, fine, get them out, get rid of all the statues, then use all the empty plinths, whack a PA system on there, and we can have ourselves a gong show.
Wonderful thoughts, David. Kirstie, how do you feel about this anarchic vandalism?
I'm all for it, mate. It's my favourite thing. I do it all day, every day. I am loving seeing people embrace what I do and what I have made my living out of after being seen as the bad guy for so long. Now everyone's doing it because it's cool to be like me.
Wonderful. Nigel, sorry, I forgot your name for a second. I was going to call you something incredibly offensive. Nigel, how do you think, if we were to remove the statues, would you prefer it to be done in a more administrative way?
Well, we should, if we do remove statues, we should remove them in a civilized way, like the British Empire removed everybody's property. That's the way to do it. We can learn from ourselves. That's my message today. Learn from yourself and nobody else. That's my philosophy.
Fantastic. Nigel Farage's philosophy there. Love it. And closing thoughts from Quenby. Yeah, so would you prefer a less violent approach, per se, to getting rid of these statues?
I think it's disgusting. I mean, like, first of all, that Britain has always respected the rule of law. So using violence to get what we want is just fundamentally un-British. Secondly, people are just taking it too far. Like, I finished a shift the other day and someone had written that I was racist on the back of my shoulders. Admittedly, I had yelled at someone in the street, which could be misconstrued, but I think it's just a slippery slope.
Slippery slope, particularly if we do move into ice sculptures, of course. And finally, Erika, what are your views on whether the violence is appropriate for removing statues in this way, or whether it should be a more kind of peaceful kind of protest way?
Well, violence is like never good, but if animals aren't getting hurt, then it's like, can I turn a blind eye to it? Maybe. I mean, I might. It's, it's fine. If I don't see it, it's okay.
Wonderful stuff. And David, what are your closing thoughts on this issue, just to round us off?
Yeah, just don't like statues, bloody crap. If I see a statue, I'm going to go meh at it and give it a right roasting and have a roast battle with a statue.
David Stanier,
fucking Edinburgh Fringe.
David Stanier, the country's only right-wing comedian, everyone. We're going to round up that well. Thank you very much, everyone. You all did a wonderful job.
Thank you for not asking me closing thoughts. I really appreciate it.
Chat amongst yourselves while I decide who I'm going to give points to. Tell me why you should get the points. Let's do it that way.
I really enjoyed Quenby's nuance in their character. I didn't necessarily expect it to go that way when I knew what the character was.
Who works as a human statue.
Yeah, you like really gave your dude some depth.
I think Erika captured the essence of her character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm going against my team, but Erika absolutely deserves the point.
I very much agree with you. Yeah, okay, gonna give. Yeah, okay, that's 3 points to Kirstie's team then. But because I also really enjoyed Khalid's rendition of Nigel Farage, so I'm going to give you a point as well. So that will be.
Thank you.
So after that, Tom's team are on 9 and Kirstie's team are on 7, moving into our final round. Wonderful stuff. So our final round is basically, but for the purposes of copyright, not scenes we'd like to see from Mock the Week, but it is in most shows of this genre. So I feel like they don't hold the format, and if they do, I can't afford to be sued. So we'll see what happens. This one, so I'm going to be giving scenarios to the team. They're going to be coming in with their suggestions. Quick fire round, points are going to go to whoever I think is funny, which is usually everyone because I don't book people who I don't think are funny. So we're going to start us off now. First, sorry, I nearly choked on my own spit. You're welcome. First scenario round thing is unlikely cliffhangers for the last episode of EastEnders.
Someone choked on their own spit.
A gang war breaks out with the West Starters.
Alien invasion.
Why are you here? Well, we thought about Islington, but Arabella said, Barnaby, the East End is so up and coming.
The Queen Vic becomes a spoon.
Rising sea levels.
That'd be a great way to end the series.
Danny Dyer leaves the square to pursue his movie career for the 5th time.
Just just everyone's on good terms and just everyone's chill.
I love you. Boom, 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 boom.
Ross Kemp returns with a Brazilian gang.
Ross Kemp in the square.
They all get really into baking during lockdown and it gets rebranded EastEnders.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to remove points from that one.
I'm sorry, Kirstie.
What?
I'm not, you're fine. Any
We're
more?
losing anyway.
They all convert to Catholicism, priestenders.
Oh, is this what we're doing now?
Oh no, they're hunting priestenders.
Turn into animal EastEnders.
It's my favorite Power Rangers series.
Erika, David, you got any, or should I move on? I appreciate that EastEnders is probably not an ideal thing for a Canadian to make fun of.
It's a soap, right? Is that what it is?
Yes, it's a soap, yeah.
Sorry. We've all got to do it on Zoom now to have any interaction, and it's really terrible, so they just decide to stop.
If they were going to stop because it was terrible, it would have happened a long time ago, mate.
This isn't a joke, but so in order to keep social distancing while filming EastEnders, the cast actually have to do their own makeup, and all I've got in my head is what Danny Dyer does his face like.
Big red lipstick.
Right, next round. Better statue subjects than Edward Colston.
Fucking everything.
A bar chart of the atrocities that were committed during colonialism, a statue. Not even sorry.
Edward Colston's maid.
David Attenborough, but as a baby.
David Attenborough, but as a baby, yeah. Fan of this.
A physical representation of how much the sea levels rised when we pushed Edward Colston into the river.
Keenan from Keenan and Kel.
Oh yeah.
Just a genuine suggestion. Hey!
12 points to Quenby's team.
A statue of Edward Colston statue being pulled down by the Black Lives Matter protesters.
Nice. Winston Churchill.
If we get it, the one of the Black Lives Matter protesters pulling it down, can we get like a smaller one nearby of those dickheads who thought they could jump in and carry it out themselves? Like a monument to like British idiocy.
Oh, just get a statue of like 3 like statue defenders. Just like.
And can we get a statue of one of the statue defenders pissing on the other statue?
Jedward dressed as Edward Colston.
Yes.
Jedward Colston.
Jedward Colston.
On top of each other in a long coat.
This is just genuinely what I think they should replace it with, like just like a statue of one of the slaves and just a placard saying, "This is what paid for your city."
I would say Jerry Adams, because why not? It'd be funny. Like whatever.
maybe we should do a statue which showcases all his philanthropy because he was such a nice guy, really.
Okay, next one. This is jokes you wouldn't see on a reboot of Little Britain.
It's pronounced UK.
Anything involving self-deprecation?
Legend, wait for it, dairy.
I'm transgender. And that's fine.
Quenby, it's jokes they wouldn't do on Little Britain.
The second half of it is, I'm transgender, and that's okay.
All right.
I'm the only gay at the butt of this joke.
Computer says, acceptable cookies, please.
How are you doing? I'm just going. Want to be on Little Britain? I'm standing by it.
I don't want to admit that I'm part of the problem.
What is the sketch with the guy in a wheelchair, but just as a very accurate portrayal of him trying to access a benefit system and eventually dies.
Oh dear. I've never actually watched Little Britain, I have to be honest.
I mean, you're spot on.
I watched one sketch and thought this is not made for me.
What gave you that idea? Was it the browning up?
It was the browning up, the guy who's not disabled pretending to be disabled, the guy who's not gay pretending to be gay. I was like, there's got to be a Pakistani coming soon. I am out.
Yeah, but no, but yeah, but it's actually David Williams' apology.
Oh, good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, but no.
And finally, unlikely PlayStation 5 launch titles.
Half-Life 3.
Assassin's Creed Salisbury.
Play the shit out of that. I don't even like Assassin's Creed. That sounds great.
Full of cutie, but instead of guns and the army, it's just about going around being cute.
I'd play the shit out of that.
Alien Social Isolation.
Call of Duty, but you're just like working through PTSD. It's just helping people with their mental health.
Call of Duty, but you're just going to the pub.
Call of Duty, colonial warfare.
Dead or Alive beach volleyball, but it's at beach in Bournemouth.
I think you'll find they are Xbox exclusives.
Well, then it wouldn't be a PlayStation 5 title. Winner.
Fair point, you get a point.
How does Thom squaring up to you and yelling get him a point?
Because I'm a straight white man.
Intimidated.
Final Fantasy 16, the finalist fantasy.
Grand Theft Antiquity, and you're just curator of the British Museum.
Any more, or are we ready to finish that round?
Bloodborne virus.
Something original.
What, a new IP at this time of day?
We don't have the time.
In the year of 2020. They just want to spend more money on the old games they had.
All the developers have to work from home. We're just doing Spider-Man again.
No, but now it's got Miles Morales, so it's more woke. That's how it works. And Sony promise it's a just as equal game as the other one. They keep saying it.
One building has a pride flag on it.
It is, however, owned by Norman Osborn.
Extras, but just really high definition.
Left 4 Dead, and it's just you're just a member of the government.
Right. I remember Left 4 Dead. That was dope.
Or Fallout, and it's just London after coronavirus.
Fallout 5, London.
You say that, I would genuinely really enjoy to play a Fallout set in London. That's for just as long as Bethesda had nothing to do with it, that'd be really good.
It would also be like really handy as like a post-lockdown game plan, because I've not got any fucking clue what I'm doing.
I'm definitely going to just get a dog and shoot mutants. That's my plan. Post coronavirus.
Oh no! Quick, hide! It's a super statue defender.
He's going to shoot mutants and make difficult moral choices, like, oh, should I stop this town from blowing up, or should I blow them up for the fun of it? What's the right thing to do?
Yeah, but seriously, in Fallout 4, in Fallout 3, have you ever blown up the town? It's really fun. It's like it completely ruins your game. But honestly, it's worth it. This
is the thing that annoys me about it. Like, it poses all these like kind of difficult moral, and I really enjoy Fallout 3. Don't get me wrong, but like the only moral choice for the most part is help someone out or fuck everything up. There's no nuance there, and like that's kind of what they were trying to sell it on.
I think
New Vegas did that a lot better. There's like a lot.
It'd be unlikely to see just a really accurate coronavirus game.
Coronavirus simulator.
The only way you win is if you stay home and follow the lockdown regulations.
You just sit there and like you play on your PlayStation on your PlayStation.
Yeah.
So unlikely PlayStation 5.
And it's not a game, but there are.
Oh, go on, Khalid.
No, you don't.
There's definitely going to be theatre about like a racist and a brown person who get locked down together and have to overcome their differences, and the racist is a hero for no longer being racist.
I smell a sitcom.
Talking about Green.
Someone called Graham.
Yeah, Green Book.
Is going to be theatre.
Yeah, theatre loves to be self-indulgent.
Unlikely PlayStation 5 title, it's a telltale morality choice game from the view of Boris Johnson and the Dominic Cummings crisis, and the options are let him get away with it or let him get away with it sternly.
I'll be honest, I decided the final scores ages ago, but I was just having fun. So, at the end of that game,
before you say anything, Jonny, I'd just like to say, if the other team wins, we will be accusing you of misogyny.
That's fine, I can live with that. I have sent Sam the scores. I'm going to kill a bit of time to make sure she is ready to...
I mean, you say it's misogyny, Quenby, but if you were listening to Jonny earlier, I don't seem cis, and therefore I'm fine.
You still ready? Okay, yep. The final scores for this episode of Blizzard Comedy's Broadcast Avalanche are Kirstie's team on 8 points and Thom's team win with 13.
We didn't win last week. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's 1-1 if I was keeping a running score, which I'm not. You'll feel free to do it at home.
I'm keeping a running score. That's how I motivate myself.
I feel like keeping a running score is going to be a bad idea because, like, the reason we brought up like how engaged people were with the news is because, like, I'm trying to not be competitive because it's like stressing me out more than it needs to. But I'm also aware that in like all of the promotions for this month, I did describe myself as a reigning champion, having done exactly one episode.
Well, you can't do that for next month.
I can't, but I'm feeling good about the next one.
Oh, fantastic.
You've put really smart people on my team.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm not saying compared to my current team.
No, like, you do have an edge, though, so you don't like Rahul Kohli and like Charlie George. I've got Andrew.
That's it. Like, you and Andrew are just gonna like banter about wrestling, and like my team's actually going to be engaged with politics.
You can banter about wrestling and be involved in politics at the same time.
Maybe you aren't.
Okay, well, we will see next month.
Thank you all for watching. And massive thank you to all our guests, Kirstie Summers, Thom B, I've forgotten everyone's name, Quenby Harley, Khalid Winter, Erika Ehler, and David Stanier. If you have enjoyed the stream, please do donate to the PayPal, which is somewhere. Is it in the comments? Yep,
it's in the pinned post and the description.
Yep, it's in the pinned post and the description. If you enjoyed, please do chuck a bit of money in there, or you can also subscribe to our Patreon. A percentage, 40% of that income is also going to go to this bucket split, and it's going to be split evenly between all the acts. We will be keeping the PayPal up for a week, so if you don't have money now, but you get paid tomorrow or whenever, you have time to give us money then. Or if you aren't able to give us money because of your financial situation, that's fine. Shout about us on social media, tell everyone how great we are, and this stream will be up on YouTube forever. I guarantee that even if YouTube goes bust, we'll keep this here. Please do share this about. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Join us again on the 27th of July, where we'll be discussing the news events of that month, including more easing of lockdown measures leading to mandatory spitting in strangers' mouths against all non-Tory voters. All statues of racists to be replaced with statues of Ed Miliband, and all cis people will hopefully be perma banned from Twitter. So join us next month, and we'll see you soon.
Bye. Bye. Wave like the Brady Bunch.